Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode, Getting Wild with Terry and Friends, Trends and Betting Picks. I am Terry, ready to break down today's slate. Of course, we have MLB to talk about, we have a CFL game to talk about, and we will get into all of that. First, we'll start the show as we usually do, taking a look back at what happened on the last show. I didn't do a show yesterday, so I'll quickly go through Tuesday and yesterday's results. Devers over 1.5 bases winner on Tuesday. Devers home run loser. Nick Gordon void. Doesn't get in the lineup despite being on a hot streak and having success against the pitchers he's been facing. He hasn't been getting in the lineup, but Miami Marlins really their focus isn't really on winning games as they're not going to be competing this year. So it makes sense not to put a hot batter in the lineup. So that makes sense there. Over 8.5 premium play, Cincinnati, New York. Thank you to Aaron Judge hitting a home run to get that game over. It was 5-3. Judge hit a home run, made it 5-4. India has gone cold, unfortunately. Over 1.5 bases loss. Gleyber Torres over 1.5 bases loss. Vladdy home run loss. Vladdy RBI loss. Soler over 1.5 bases, plus 118 winner. Minnesota Twins money line, premium play winner. Buxton over 1.5 bases, plus 145 winner. Buxton home run loser. Buxton RBI loser. San Diego Padres premium play loser. I was wrong on that game. 7-0 Texas. The Padres were red hot, but now they've gone ice cold. Philadelphia Phillies plus money against the Cubs. Sign me up. Plus 110 winner with the Phillies. The Royals were in rain delay, ended up coming back, playing really late too. Ended up losing against Tampa Bay. Pasquantino did not get an RBI. So, of course, I stayed off it yesterday. And, of course, he got an RBI. So that's what's going to happen. Brenton Doyle home run plus 525, the highlight of the night. Thank you, Mr. Doyle. I guess I could have had his home run ready to put on screen, but I'm prepared. G-Loff home run loser. Gurriel loser. Overall, up 0.27 units on the day. So up a quarter unit. Can't complain about that. Not a losing day. So that was nice. Going to yesterday's slate, Devers over 1.5 bases plus 150. He got 4. Not a home run. A triple and a single. Jaron Duran home run plus 1,100 loser, but back-to-back games with the home run, had to pull the trigger on that one. Cincinnati money line plus 160 against the Yankees, winner. The Yankees are in trouble right now and are a bit too big of favorites against this Reds team the last couple of days. Over 8.5 loser. Both teams trending towards the over, especially the Yankees. It did not end up getting over yesterday. I should have known. Not to take the over yesterday with Abbott on the mound, with how great he's been for the Reds, but it is what it is. Ellie De La Cruz, loser. Jonathan India, as I said, has gone cold. Loser there. Yordan Alvarez, over 1.5 bases, plus 104. He got 8. Why did he get 8? Because he hit a home run. Plus 300 winner there. I believe it's 3 or 4 straight games against the Blue Jays he's hit a home run. And we'll be discussing him very soon on the show. Nathaniel Lowe, over 1.5 bases, plus 155. Nice winner there. He's been on a heater lately. Didn't get the RBI. Langford only got 1 base. Correa over 1.5 bases, winner. He hit a double. Correa home run, loser. Buxton over 1.5 bases. He hit a double too. Twins team total over 4.5. Unfortunately, loser. I believe they only got 2. There, Doyle home run plus 600, loser. Loss of a quarter unit there. Renifa over 1.5 bases. He had been red hot, but didn't get anything yesterday. Otani home run, loser. So yesterday up 0.33 units. So overall, the last 2 days up half a unit. Um, Nothing to get excited about, but could be a lot worse. Could be losing days, which I'm glad they have not been. Let me get the spreadsheet ready here. There we go. We will talk to the chat and see how everyone is doing today, and then we'll get to. I don't have anything in the game that's starting right now. My first play is in the 1 o'clock game, so we'll get to that very soon. Yo, Terry, on a roll. You the man. Thanks, Isex. Yeah, I'm not doing too bad lately. Up and down, up and down. Hey, Terry. Hey, Storage Club. How's it going? Let's make some money. Yes, Swan. That's the plan. AA. Hey, how's it going? Stop Geo. Getting Blue Jade with Terry and friends. No, no. I am in the beginning process of a divorce with the Blue Jays, and likely going to be a Twins fan eventually. Terry, Marika, yes. Happy Independence Day. I'm Canadian, so don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I guess I should say that. Don't kill me for not knowing. But sorry, guys. Land of the free and home of the. Yeah, no. I guess technically, but Manny Machado is on an absolute tear lately on his his bases and home run prop. I'm not on either, but maybe I overlooked him. Maybe we'll discuss him. He does have home runs against the pitcher he's facing, but a lot of at bats. Not the best average overall. Happy 4th of July. Go America. Yes. Happy 4th of July. But we will jump into today's slate and we will start with the first game that is happening in around 20 minutes ish. We got the Cincinnati Reds and the New York Yankees here in this one. On the mound for the Reds is Frankie Montas, 3-6 with a 4.23 ERA in the season against Marcus Stroman, 7-3 with a 3.29 ERA. However, Stroman, like the rest of this Yankees team, has been a little rough lately. After going 3-1 with a 1.67 ERA in May, he's 2-1 with a 5.13 ERA in June. His ERA has skyrocketed. 5 hits, 3 earned runs against Toronto, 3 hits, 3 earned runs against Atlanta, 7 hits, 4 earned runs against Boston. Good start against Kansas City, and then part of that, 6 hits, 5 earned runs against the Minnesota Twins. So it's been a bit of a rough go for Marcus Stroman lately. And looking at this here, there's no Reds props I'm going to get to here. Both of the hot hitters right now, India, as I said at the beginning of the show, is cooling off. 2 for 7 with a double against Stroman. Ellie De La Cruz 0 for 2 against Stroman. I really think Ellie De La Cruz does something today, but trying to be a little bit more selective with props. I may or may not have a premium play in this game, and it may or may not be available at picksandparlays.net in the description below. But yes, I do. There is something I like in this game, a premium play wise. Aaron Judge, not taking him here. It's kind of hit or miss with Judge. We will take Ben Rice over 1.5 bases. He's actually in the leadoff spot in this game, which is awesome. Multiple bases in 3 games in a row. I'm not counting yesterday's game because he technically did have one at bat when he got walked, but I'm not going to count that as 3 of 4 because I'm not going to count that as a game played. So multiple bases in 3 games in a row, RBI in back-to-back games. Frankie Montas has been getting hit, so I like Ben Rice here, one of the Yankees rookies. Not going to take Gleyber Torres. Ultimately, player prop wise, we're just taking Ben Rice over 1.5 bases here in the first game of the day. Wings landed Tarasenko And Yzerman is banking on Talbot holding up that 915 save percentage from last year. Uh, Relying on Cam Talbot is an easy way to have your season go to the shitter. Sorry to rain on your parade, Stop Geo, but relying on Cam Talbot is not a good thing. Um, he will show up when he wants to and then not show up for 5, 6 games. And then, of course, you trade for a Hall of Famer, Marc-Andre Fleury, and then all of a sudden, Talbot's back to playing great again. So I'm not a huge fan of his overall. But Yanks run line today, premium play on the site, but no, I would not go with the Yankees run line. Holy shit, it's Tim Earl. Yeah, it's Tim Earl. DK with the plus 200 odds for any home run today. Is that adding plus 200 odds to any home run? I'll have to look at that because there is some home run props I like, which we'll get to. Trust me, I'm not holding any parades after, or any parades after these moves overall from Eisner. Yeah, you guys have a young goalie. You guys have Sebastian Cossa, but then you have a lot of goalies signed. So yeah, you don't want to rush him. No need to rush him, but you guys have your goalie coming. So add plus 200 to any home run. Okay. We'll discuss the home run hitter. Oh, I know exactly which home run you should add that to, and we'll discuss it actually very soon. We'll discuss it right now. Houston Astros are heading to Toronto to face the Blue Jays. Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Blue Jays. Now, Bassett has been good recently. 3-0 with a 1.71 ERA in his last 7 starts. Last start a win against the New York Yankees. Overall, he's been good. And in June, he only gave up 1 home run in a game against Boston. And in May, he actually only gave up 1 home run to Tampa Bay. So Chris Bassett hasn't been giving up home runs recently. However, today he has to face Yordan Alvarez, who we discussed earlier in the recap of yesterday's slate. Yordan Alvarez is hitting the ball. Hit in 7 of his last 8 games, home run in back-to-back games, multiple bases in 6 of 7, and an RBI in 3 games in a row. He's 8 for 18 against Bassett with a double and 5 home runs. So ultimately, yes, Bassett hasn't really been giving up a lot of home runs recently, but Alvarez is hitting home runs. Alvarez hits home runs against the Blue Jays. Alvarez hits home runs against Bassett. So half unit on the RBI, half unit on over 1.5 bases, and a half unit on the home run. Unfortunately, the home run I think is around plus 230-ish. So if you go to DK, you can get you would be plus around 400 and something. This is the one I would use for my if I was using the DK home run prop. Yes, Bassett hasn't given up a lot of home runs recently, but we've seen the numbers here, and the Jays bullpen is awful. So if Yordan Alvarez gets an at bat to the Jays bullpen, as long as they don't walk him, he has a good chance of hitting a home run. Looking at the Jays, not taking Vladdy, cooling off. Springer has been great, but he's 0 for 7 against Valdez. So really the only player I would look at here in this game is Yordan Alvarez, which I've looked at 3 times here with 3 different bets here in this game. Yankees, first 5, team total over 2.5. Okay, I can see that. Riding with their first 5 minus a half. Wish you luck, Adam Digest. All right. $500 on Alvarez home run. It would depend on your unit size. I don't have $500 on Alvarez home run. Half unit plays for all 3 of these for me. So depending on what your unit size is, you could go with whatever you want. But half unit play for me Most of the time, I'm doing quarter units with home runs, but I'll make an exception here in this one for Alvarez. Varsho 100 plus WRC plus versus lefties this year, and Framber Valdez has reverse splits, worse against lefties. Okay, I like his total bases over 1.5. Best of luck. Great breakdown in that. For me, I only look at players that are really hot recently, so that's why he's not on the spreadsheet. Is because he's not consistent enough lately. But guys that aren't consistent eventually get hit, so this could be a good spot for him. So thanks, Adam, for the comment there. But we'll move on along to our next game. We've got the Boston Red Sox facing the Miami Marlins here in this game. Trying to get this right on, but not having much success. So, oh well, I'll make this smaller. Here in this game, Boston and Miami. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Red Sox. Kyle Tyler on the mound for the Miami Marlins here in this one. And we are going with Rafael Devers. Over 1.5 bases. He's done in 6 of his last 7 games. Red hot right now. Hasn't faced Tyler before. So we'll see how he does against him today. Jaron Duran, staying off his props. Not really the best price for him. Masataka Yoshida is finally getting hot this year. Has dealt with injuries this season, but was a great hitter last year for the Red Sox, and he's red hot right now. Multiple bases in 6 of his last 7 games. So we'll take him here. Nick Gordon, I'm assuming, is not in the lineup because why would you put a hot hitter in the lineup? No. So either something's maybe he's injured. I don't know about it. I don't know. But anyways, don't like to take Miami props anyway, so we'll just pass there on this one and just take the Boston props here in this one. Red Sox run line. Let's fish today. I do not have a side or total in this game. I would lean towards Boston, but not enough to pull the trigger. So best of luck to anyone that has a side in that game. Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians here. Jared Schuster on the mound for the Chicago White Sox. Don't know how long exactly he's going to pitch. I see he's pitched in 2 to 3 innings in recent games played. This looks like it'll be his first start. So 1 innings in games before. So he can go anywhere from 1 to 3 innings here, most likely, for the White Sox. And for the Guardians, we've got Ben Lively. Ultimately, not getting to anything here between Andrew Vaughn. Luis Robert Jr. has been good lately, so you could look at him. Lennon Sosa has been good recently as well for the White Sox, so you could look at him. Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, kind of cooling off lately for the Guardians. Jonksy Noel hasn't really done much lately either. The White Sox actually playing a little bit better than Cleveland right now, which I don't really think I would have said, but hey, it's happening. Over 8.5. Progressive Field is a hitter's park this year. Yeah, I agree with that. Just for me, this White Sox offense, obviously, they've shown lately they can score some runs, but then they get shut out the next game. So not a team I've backed at really at all this year and won't start now. Detroit Tigers, Minnesota Twins here in this one. Byron Buxton getting the day off. That's why he is in red. Kenta Maeda for the Detroit Tigers. Bailey Ober on the mound for the Twins. Hottest hitter right now for the Tigers, Wenceel Perez. He's 1 for 3 with the triple against Bailey Ober. So could potentially look at his props. I stayed off. Byron Buxton obviously not playing, so we're not touching his props. Carlos Correa, only 2 for 7 against Maeda, but Correa, multiple bases in 4 of his last 6 games. He's playing pretty well recently for the Twins. And the rookie, Brooks Lee, one of the Twins' top rookies, and I believe he was ranked the 13th prospect in baseball, made his major league debut yesterday and got 2 hits and an RBI. So here today, he's in the lineup again against Kenta Maeda, who has struggled this season. Overall, he is 2-4 with a 5.76 ERA. So we will take the Minnesota rookie, Brooks Lee. Half unit on over 1.5 bases and a quarter unit on the RBI because it's plus 210. And a struggling pitcher in Kenta Maeda. Brooks Lee, great in his debut, plus 210, just a great price. So I had to put a quarter unit on that as well for the Minnesota Twins here against Kenta Maeda, former Twins pitcher. And both bullpens suck. There we go. Best of luck. What's up, Terry? Good luck today, man. Let's make some money from the books. Hey, Andrew. Best of luck to you as well. And that's the plan. That is the plan. Bailey Ober loves giving out fireworks, aka home runs. Haha. Yeah, we'll see. This Detroit Tigers offense either doesn't exist or they have a huge game. That's really how it's been this year. They do have these big offensive outbursts and then don't show up the next game. Correa, I'm in. Twins run line 2. I would not talk you off Twins run line. That's all I'll say. Is I would not talk you off it. That's all I'll say. Philadelphia Phillies are facing the Chicago Cubs here. Christopher Sanchez on the mound for the Phillies. Jameson Taillon on the mound for the Cubs. The Cubs 39 and 48 on the season, and just not having a good year, especially recently. This Phillies team currently has some injuries going on, but hasn't really hurt them recently. I really should be looking at Alec Bohm, home run in 2 of his last 3 games. He's starting to heat up. Only 2 for 5 against Jameson Taillon, both singles. Taillon has not been pitching bad at all for the Cubs, so ultimately didn't really want to go on any props against him. But I should probably look at Alec Bohm. Trey Turner, he's been great recently as well. And for the Cubs, their 2 hottest hitters haven't really been doing anything recently. The story of the Cubs season this year. So currently no plays, but I really should be looking at Alec Bohm over 1.5 bases, most likely. So stay tuned after the show. I might add that here in this game. Dun, 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 dun. Connor Wong on a 17-game, 22 hit streak, and he's benched today. Shake my head. That's MLB managers for you. That's what they do. Great time to be a Sabres fan. Welcome to the family of Jason Zucker. He can play up and down the lineup while improving our bottom 6. Tougher to play against, and Lindy will have that offense back. Woo. Real deal prime. The Sabres buying out Jeff Skinner made no sense. And if you're expecting Jason Zucker to come in here and replace him, you're going to be sadly upset when Jason Zucker gets injured. He cannot stay healthy. And hopefully he doesn't get injured, but he cannot stay healthy. And the Sabres buying out Jeff Skinner did not make any sense for a team that should be trying to go all in. Like, they need to make the playoffs. It's been 13 years now. I don't get it. I don't get the Sabres. So I have nothing really positive to say about the Sabres, unfortunately. But yeah. Christopher Sanchez K-Ladder. me and strikeouts don't do well this year, so I don't even look at them, to be honest. But best of luck. Buxton out of the lineup today, yes, but you want to keep him healthy. So I am not against him getting the time off, especially with his injury history. Love Brandon Marsh today. All right, best of luck. I like the Cubs today, says Storage Club. All right, best of luck. I'm not against you. So we'll see what happens. San Diego Padres are facing the Texas Rangers here. Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Texas Rangers. And yeah, Manny Machado he's seen a little bit of Max Scherzer. 58 at bats, which is a lot. Most of these players we're seeing are like 0 for 3, maybe 0 for 7, or 2 for 5 or something like that, but we're not really seeing many 58 at bats. Of those 58 at bats, he did get 11 hits, 2 doubles, 5 home runs. But that is a very bad average. 11 for 58. I don't exactly know offhand what the average is, but that's not a good average. Max Scherzer looked absolutely fantastic in his first start against Kansas City. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 4 strikeouts. Then against Baltimore, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and a loss. So overall, he's pitched pretty well. This Padres team was smoking hot and now kind of gone cold. So not getting to any props with Jackson Merrill or Manny Machado here for the Padres. Nathaniel Lowe has been great recently. Did cash for us yesterday, the over 1.5 bases. He's 1 for 3 against Michael King. This isn't one of the games that I really want to get to with props, but I would lean with Nathaniel Lowe over 1.5 bases. Nothing with Derek Hill, Wyatt Langford for the Texas Rangers. Move on along to our next game. The LA Angels are facing the Oakland Athletics here. In this one, Ronzi Contreras on the mound for the Angels. 1-0 with a 4.41 ERA in 12 games played. We'll be making the start here in this one. His last game was against Oakland. 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks. Now he's facing them again. JP Sears on the mound for the Athletics. Not touching Taylor Ward. We did take Renifo yesterday. Didn't get a hit, and he's 1 for 7 against JP Sears. So no interest in him. Willie Calhoun has cooled off, so no interest in his props. Giloff, again, he's cooled off recently. Brent Rooker, he's been anything but cold recently. A home run in 4 of his last 7 games, multiple bases at 9 of 13, 2 for 4 against Contreras with a double. We'll take Rooker over 1.5 bases for a half unit and a quarter unit on the home run, which he's done in 4 of his last 7 games, including yesterday's game. So we'll take Brent Rooker here, and that's basically it for this game. Sabres are adding one more player. With teams over the cap, players to sign, players will become available. Sabres have 11 million left. Yes. Okay. If they sign somebody, then yes, they definitely should sign somebody or make some kind of trade or something. Because if I was the Sabres, it's all in on making the playoffs this year. That should be the only thing that the Sabres should be talking about is the word playoffs because they need to get it done. Great show, all ears. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll move on along to the Baltimore Orioles and the Seattle Mariners here. Corbin Burns on the mound for the Orioles. Bryce Miller on the mound for the Mariners. Corbin Burns, exactly what Baltimore wanted when they signed him, or when they traded for him. He has been absolutely excellent this season. 5-1 in his last 6 starts. He's gone. He's gone at least 6 innings in his last 12 starts. So he's been extremely consistent. His worst game during those 12 starts was against Houston, 5 hits, 4 runs, um, which was in his game before last. Then he responded against Texas, 9 hits, 1 earned run, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts. So he has been giving up hits. Overall, not a lot of runs. So he has been pretty um, consistent for the Orioles. For the Mariners, Bryce Miller, who on the season 6-7 with a 3.88 ERA. He's lost back-to-back starts. It's been a little bit of a rough go for him recently, and this Mariners offense just, I don't want to say doesn't exist, but is just not good at all. Which we've seen in the first 2 games of the series, um, with the Mariners only scoring 1 run. So Ryan O'Hearn, 2 for 8 against Miller. We're going to stay off him. Henderson, Westberg, we're not taking any props there either, and nothing for Cal Rayleigh. This isn't really a game I want to jump on props. I think there's a lot of better games to look out for props. I don't think we see much different from the first 2 games in the series, which were, I believe, 2-0 and 4-1 wins. Yeah, 4-1 win yesterday, 2-0 the day before. So don't really want to get involved in a ton of props, or any props actually, here in this game. Move on along to our next one. San Francisco Giants are facing the Atlanta Braves here. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. Charlie Morton on the mound for the Braves. Matt Chapman has been hot recently. Multiple bases in 4 or 5. He's 4 for 17 with a triple against Charlie Morton. Luis Matos, kind of cooling off recently. Patrick Bailey hasn't played a lot recently. Jorge Soler. We are taking props with Jorge Soler. Multiple bases in 5 of his last 6 games. Heating up for the Giants right now. Home run in his last game. 3 for 16 with a double and a home run against Charlie Morton. So had success against Morton. Multiple bases in 5 of 6 games. We'll take him for a half unit there. Austin Riley heating up the last couple games. 5 for 17 against Webb, all singles. Ultimately not going to get to his props. Again, this isn't a game where I want to overload on props, but I will take Jorge Soler in this game, as he's been heating up recently for the Giants. On to our next one. Milwaukee Brewers and the Colorado Rockies here in this one. And only 2 hot hitters right now, 1 in each team. Neither team hitting a lot. I believe it was 3-0 yesterday for the Brewers in Colorado, which you really don't see very often. We were on Brenton Doyle home run yesterday. He got 2 hits, didn't get the home run. I'll take him over 1.5 bases here today. He's done in 4 of his last 6 games, and I believe this will be Tobias Meyer's first game in in Colorado. So we'll see how he does. But we'll just take Brenton Doyle over 1.5 bases for a half unit in this game. Moving on along to our next one, Tampa Bay Rays are facing the Kansas City Royals. Zach Eflin on the mound for the Rays. Alec Marsh for the Kansas City Royals. And probably should be a game that I look at for props, but nothing really stood out for me here. Jose Caballero has been good recently. Will he be in the lineup? That's the question there. Pasquantino, an RBI in 8 of his last 9 games. I don't want to jinx him, and that's what it felt like. The only game he didn't get an RBI was the one I bet. So obviously I'm not a jinx. I'm just kidding. But his RBI prop is definitely a good look. Probably something I get to later on. Perez, Bobby Witt Jr., passing on both of them, but as you can see, 2 for 4 with the home run, 2 for 4 with the triple. They've had some success against Zach Eflin. Not a pitcher I trust either. So this game, we'll kind of see how the afternoon goes. And this is one where you might want to check out Twitter, and I'll post if I add anything here in this game. Final game of the night, and we'll, of course, get to the CFL, start with my power rankings, and then I'll break down tonight's CFL game. Arizona Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers here in this one. Christian Walker heating up for the Diamondbacks. A home run in back-to-back games, multiple bases in 4 games in a row. We'll take him, half unit on over 1.5 bases and a quarter unit on the home run. He's 2 for 2 with the home run against Knack. Ohtani has been very good recently. We're on his home run prop yesterday. Not taking him today. He's 0 for 3 against Gallen. And doesn't happen often where people can shut down Ohtani, but this could possibly be the pitcher to do it. With Ohtani not doing anything yesterday, though, I could see him doing something today, but obviously going to stay off. Freddie Freeman, 4 for 18 with 3 doubles and a home run against Gallen. Freeman's been great recently, so you could look at him if you wanted another prop, but for me, it's just Christian Walker. Over 1.5 bases and home run. Kansas money line, Kansas City. No, I didn't get to a side there. Would lean with the Royals, but not enough to pull the trigger on it. So we will didn't have that. I always forget the MLB background. Oh well, it is what it is. We'll switch over to the CFL, and we will start with my power rankings. So here on the left side, closest to me, that's this week's rankings. Over on the other side is last week's rankings. So we'll see how things have changed from last week to this week. There is some movement overall last week. In ninth place, as the worst team in the CFL in my rankings, is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This Tiger Cats team obviously have yet to win a game. And then last week, Trevor Harris goes down, or the week, sorry, before, Trevor Harris goes down, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats looked like they would have had a chance to win that game, but played worse after Trevor Harris went down. And then last week, Hamilton goes into Ottawa. Hamilton on a 10-game win streak against Ottawa. They've absolutely owned the Red Blacks. And the Red Blacks with, yes, a close 24-22 win and a field goal in the final seconds of the game. But still, the fact that Hamilton has once again lost, they are the worst team in the CFL in my rankings. And they kind of stay where they are this week. Next up, and yes, I'm doing it. I've dropped the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to 8th. And if you watched every CFL show since the beginning of the season, I had Winnipeg first in my power rankings to start the season. Of course, I did mention that it was a very close race between first and third. Winnipeg has dropped week after week. Did give them a slight upgrade there when they lost to BC only by 2 points. But last week, they lost to Calgary, 22-19 win for Calgary. Winnipeg's now 0-4. They just continue to deal with injuries. Now Zach Collaros is injured. They don't have Dalton Schoen for the year. They've had defense injuries. They've had offense injuries. They're just heavily injured. So looking at it, I think they're 8th. I think they are the 8th ranked team. Edmonton Elks were 8th last week. This week they move up a spot to 7th. And no, it's not because they won a game, because they haven't. They are still 0-4. But once again, they only lost by 3 points to the BC Lions. That is 3 weeks in a row where Edmonton has lost by 3 points. Their first game of the year, 29-21 loss at home against the Riders. Since then, 3-point loss to Montreal, 3-point loss to Toronto, and a 3-point loss to BC. All teams much better than them. So the fact that Edmonton has been only been losing by 3 points allows them to pass above Winnipeg. Which, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that I would have Edmonton above Winnipeg in my power rankings, I would have probably laughed at you. But things have changed in the CFL this season. Moving up to 6 spots, Ottawa moves up 1 spot to 6th. 2-1 on the season now. Obviously, that really awful game against Montreal, but really everyone is having an awful game against Montreal. They've been fantastic this season. Ottawa finally getting the win against Hamilton. Yes, only a 2-point win, but they move up 1 spot. Just 1 spot. They move up. Calgary Stampeders, they also move up a spot to 5th with the win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This Stampeders team, the team I thought was going to be the worst team in the CFL, finds himself at 2-1 after the first 4 weeks. And of course, they are on a bye they play on Saturday against Montreal. So most likely they're going to find themselves 2-2 here after this week. And most likely they will fall in the power rankings, but this is as high as they've been this season in 5th spot. In 4th spot, I have the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And you might be thinking, how can you possibly have the Roughriders below the Argonauts? The Argonauts lost last week. Roughriders won. And reason being, the Roughriders are without Trevor Harris, which I've said all season long is a really important guy to keep healthy. Of course, he did get injured. Patterson came in, did not look good, but of course wasn't expecting to start. Now he's had the week off and he's obviously the bye week and a week off to prepare. And we'll move up to 4th or to 3rd. I have the Toronto Argonauts. So both of these teams switch spots. I think it's very, very close between these teams right now. And tonight's game between Toronto and Saskatchewan is really going to show us how things are going to go the next few weeks. Trevor Harris is supposed to be out around 6 weeks for the Rough Riders. So we'll see how they do in their first full game without him against a good opponent in the Toronto Argonauts. I think it's very, very close between these two. But I did have to put the Rough Riders down 1 spot because losing Harris really does hurt them, but not enough to drop them below Calgary. So they sit in 4th, Toronto in 3rd. And again, for the last however many weeks, we'll go and take a look. Ever since week 2. So the last 4 weeks have all been the same. BC Lions 2nd, Montreal Alouettes 1st. Don't see any reason to change either of those. So both of those teams stay exactly where they are. Thank you again for the show, brother. Good luck to you in the chat. Thanks to you as well, Stop Geo. Best of luck. But we will quickly go to today's game, and then we will get to the recap of today's slate. So Toronto 2-1, Saskatchewan 3-0. Both teams have gone over the total in all 3 games this season. Toronto averaging 31.33 points per game, Saskatchewan 32.67. Toronto averaging 31 points against Saskatchewan, only 23.67. So the Rough Riders have had the stronger defense so far. Maybe they faced weaker opponents as well, so you have to look at strength of schedule. But the Argonauts have had trouble stopping anybody so far. They've allowed at least 27 points in all 3 games this season. Toronto has had success against Saskatchewan, 4-0 in the last 4, covering the spread in 3 of the last 4, going over 48.5. However, both of these teams are quite a bit different than they were in previous meetings. So take that with a grain of salt here in this one. When it comes to player props, Cameron Dukes, he's gone under 255 in all 3 games so far this season. And I believe his prop is 260 or 270. So I would lean under, but not getting to it. Kadeem Carey under 65.5 receiving yards in 2 of his 3 games. And then Rashid Bailey, DeMonte Coxey, both under in recent games as well. So the Argonauts have not been really their players have not really been getting a lot of receiving yards, and Cameron Dukes hasn't really been passing a whole lot, but it hasn't really hurt the Argonauts so far, other than their last game against Montreal. Only play I have in this game that's not a premium play. I do have a premium play up on the site in this game, but only play that is not a premium play is AJ Ouellette, running back for the Rough Riders. Gets to face his old team this week. Last week, 98 rushing yards, his best game by far so far this season. Now he's facing his former team, 58.5 rushing yards, minus 114. Pulled the trigger on that for a half unit. FanDuel. With Shea Patterson now at quarterback, I do expect the Rough Riders to run the ball a bit more with AJ Ouellette. I love that it's been the bye week for the Rough Riders. I think that really does help out Ouellette here. So I like him for over 58.5 rushing yards, minus 114. Jarrett Stearns, Kean Schaefer-Baker, both have been getting a lot of receiving yards in recent games. However, both went under last week. Of course, Harris getting injured, Patterson coming in. Don't have any interest in taking any receiving props over, just with the fact that we don't really know what we're going to get from Shea Patterson. He did not look good in relief for Trevor Harris, but bye week, and now he knows he's starting, so we'll see if he can do better in this game. But we're just sticking with AJ Ouellette over on his rushing yards prop here in this game. Premium plays at picksandparlays.net. A little bit too late to get my afternoon pack with 3 games starting around 1 o'clock. 2 of them starting, I think, here at 1 o'clock. So too late for that. I do have a play in the Baltimore Orioles game, which is available on the site, and a play in the CFL game, which is also available on the site. We will do a recap of today's plays now. Ben Rice over 1.5 bases, plus 160. Yordan Alvarez RBI, plus 135. Yordan Alvarez home run, plus 290. Alvarez over 1.5 bases, minus 110. Yoshida over 1.5 bases, plus 160. Devers over 1.5 bases, plus 130. Carlos Correa over 1.5 bases, minus 110. Brooks Lee RBI, plus 210. Brooks Lee over 1.5 bases, plus 165. Brent Rooker home run, plus 330. Brent Rooker over 1.5 bases, plus 120. Jorge Soler over 1.5 bases, minus 102. Brent Doyle over 1.5 bases, plus 125. AJ Ouellette over 58.5 rushing yards, minus 114. And Christian Walker home run, plus 350. Christian Walker over 1.5 bases, plus 115 for today's slate. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Appreciate all the support. Everyone, enjoy your 4th of July, and we will see you guys tomorrow, Friday, for another episode. Getting well with Terry and friends, trends and betting picks. Best of luck today, guys.